So I thought today I would work on another way to divide up your spread. I do when I don't know what to draw is I'll do a scribble. And now you can scribble just any old way you want. Maybe your scribbles are angular. Mine are generally swoopy. Kind of like the ribbon exercise that I do, only this one, the lines are just a start. So on this one, I'm going to just make a squiggly line. Test this over here. I've chosen a darker gray. This is warm gray 4. This is a polychromos? Yeah, polychromos. You can start with whatever color or value you wish. But the idea here is to divide up your paper, also to put some marks on it, all right? So that you get over the fear of ruining or messing up your page. All right, so I'm just gonna scribble. But once I've got this squiggles, so my page is now marred, right? I've made a mess on it, and that's okay, that's part of it. Then it's a matter of picking out shapes. A lot of times I will do several pages of this and then put it away. And maybe that's all I do that day. And then I'll come back and look through them and I will start to see shapes. It might be a face, it might be a creature, it might be nothing, right? You know, and if nothing's coming up, that's okay. Don't panic. Don't feel like it's not working. You need to give it a chance to work. So, if I'm having one of those, it's like, gosh, just nothing here, I don't see anything. What I can start doing is anywhere there are intersections, I can start reinforcing those. Since I'm drawing on black paper, I'm going to use a lighter color. This is a 50% cold gray. I think this is a Prismacolor. That's it. So I can start coming in here and just making these a little darker and not really worrying about what it looks like. I don't have to do every intersection. I can just do some of them. There is no right or wrong. I often have to remind myself of that. That's just whichever way you think of first, do that. Try not to second guess. Just keep going. I kind of like that. It's almost like bubbles, soap bubbles. This becomes very relaxing. Hopefully you can see that. Let's get some white and maybe do even lighter. Pressing fairly lightly, and then just play. Just grab an intersection, round it out, and move on. I'm just going to spend, probably I'll spend a little time on this. And if I remember, there is something I wanted to talk to you about, and that is the difference, or just thinking on the differences between a sketch and a drawing. You know, it's not super important, but I think there are times when it is. Especially when you're looking through Instagram and seeing all of those just gorgeous sketchbooks out there. And then, you know, you start feeling intimidated, unworthy, that kind of thing. But for right now, I'm just going to go over these intersections. I'm not going to worry about it too much. And as always, if you come in during this or after, please do leave me a comment down below and let me know you were here or that you are here. There is another line, a very pale one right here that I see coming through. I like where it's coming through, so I'm going to reinforce it and then work with it. Got a white now, and I'm going to come in and add a little white to the bigger intersections. There we go, that's kind of fun. A lot of possibilities. I could start adding other little things, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Right, with my highlights up here, black here. This paper is more of a gray, and I don't know if it shows on the camera, but when I put the black down, it really shows up nicely. And that would be a little highlight underneath. So yeah, it's kind of looking that way. It's getting there. There's a dark gray. I just kind of wonder if I should lighten around it just a little, almost filling in this shape, so that the black pops more. What I can do is bring those lines out a little more on the outside. Pressing pretty hard with the white now just to make sure that comes out more. Okay, there. That looks pretty dimensional on my end. And that segues to the point I wanted to make about sketching versus drawing. So a sketch, you know, something like this doesn't take much time. not overly developed. This is bordering on drawing, where there's more time involved. So some of it is, I think the biggest difference is just the time invested in it, right? If I flip back to this is a drawing, right? That's a sketch. So two very different things. And so you see these sketchbooks out there that are just delicious. Hopefully they inspire you, but sometimes, I don't know about you, it makes me want to quit. I'll never be that good. I might as well give up now, right? What is that? Comparison is a thief of joy, right? So those sketchbooks that are so beautifully developed, I'm starting to look at them as, that's a book of well-developed drawings, right? So I can't compare my sketch to someone else's well-developed drawing, kind of thing. So what do you think about that? Does that make sense to you? There's a quick sketch, very much drawing. Spent a lot of time on this, drawing, well-developed values. Still very sketchy. It's not overly smooth, but I think I spent enough time on that one that it became a drawing. I share this with you in hopes that it will help you too when you are feeling that way, when you're comparing yourself to someone else's sketchbook online where they've spent hours and hours and hours on a page. And you look at yours that you've maybe spent an hour on total, and you start feeling inadequate, right? Remember that yours is a drawing. Yours is a sketch. You're comparing it to a drawing. So you are comparing an apple to an orange. And you can tell that voice in the back of your head that starts doubting you. Tell it, one, to shut up, and two, that it's comparing apples to oranges. Yeah, and give yourself a break, or at least be kind to yourself. Spreads like this, I come back and revisit over time. And that leaf spread at the beginning of this book, that was very, much a drawing. I didn't do that all in one sitting. I came back to, if I didn't feel like starting a brand new sketch in my book or drawing in my book, I will turn to one that needs some work or that I feel like working on. Yeah. Each session in your book does not have to be a full sketch or a full drawing. Start one if you feel like starting one. Develop another if you don't feel like starting. I found that if I give myself that choice, that's very helpful and can help me work through a block. If I'm having a rough time, then I can say, okay, I spent time in my sketchbook. I made marks on paper. I did the thing. I'm not a failure. It's starting to look really nicely dimensional to me. Let's try one of the smaller ones, like this one. So I'm gonna come up here and define the top edge with black. Come around it, and underneath is the shadow, right? Let's see, let's do a yellow one. Yellow's nice and bright. So lightly filling with that yellow because I still want enough tooth to come in with the white pretty solidly on the bottom edge. And then I've got the highlights up above, and the reflected light is the blue for the highlight outside too. Now there is a much smaller one. Let's try it in pink. That blue, you really can't tell that it is blue. Pink I can see. Yeah, see, that one was super easy. It's super quick. It doesn't take much on this dark paper to really make that sing. Let's try for fun. I'm gonna come in with the dark, this black. Try going thicker on the lower edge with this dark to give it some fun dimension. It's kind of fun. Also bring in this colorless blender. Often it does affect the value. If I'm on light paper, it's gonna make what's on there darker because it's gonna rub it down into the grain of the paper. This one, I don't notice that it did much, but sometimes the leaf that's on completely bare tooth of a paper, you can actually leave marks with it. So just something to know. I'm making these light spots lighter right now, just because. No particular reason, it just felt like the thing to do. Try something here. Let's try putting some color over some of those intersections where I've got it really white to make some of them yellow. How about orange? I've not done an orange one yet. And down here, let's do the lower light part. We'll start with some yellow. And then a bit of white. Highlight there. And then I can come back in and add a gray halo. Gives that black something to stand out against. I like that. I really like that. That's kind of fun. My goal was to spend time in my sketchbook, share another way of making marks on a page when maybe you don't know what to do. So, what do you think? Is that something you'd try? Let me know in the comments. And I am going to call it good right here. And I will see you next Monday. All right? Go make some art, and I'll catch you later.